Hello and welcome to another beta testing video about the Amazon class. Today's video is going to focus on the changes that were made to Amazon, all the things that changed in the patch notes, and also some of the live beta patch notes and things that are happening in real time. In addition, we will demonstrate all the things that we found during our testing. We did 7.5 or so hours of testing on stream, and we also did some testing off stream. To make sure that we kind of understand what's going on with the Amazon class at the moment for Season 11. Now, I will say, and I think this is a good opportunity to say it, that Amazon is not a class that I often play, and so always make sure that you're going over testing. Ask people in the Discord. I asked like some chatters that are Amazon players, and I also asked people in the Discord for tips, ideas to kind of expand on things that I found myself or that I figured out by myself. So with that said, let's talk a little bit about the changes. So the main changes that Amazon got in the patch notes were firstly, Jab and Fend got changed. Jab and Fend got faster, better animations for their attacks. At the moment of making this video, like we tested before the change was reverted, but the buff to Fend was reverted. Apparently it was buggy in some way, so Fend changes were reverted. Jab stays the same. Now, Jab is mostly used for bosses, like either map bosses or bossing in general. So her buffs as a bosser are going to remain. We can't really test bossing, but I do have an instance of testing Ubers, which was insanely strong. We'll definitely share that soon. And Fend is mostly used for mapping. This build is not like a dedicated mapper. It shouldn't really be a dedicated mapper, but we tested with Zeri's Resolve that got changed as well. I got a lot of changes to how you can use it for mobility because it gives you now a nice level joust with cooldown reduction. So again, very interesting option for a melee mapper. So we'll show that as well. Penetrate got changed. Before it had the reduced target defense, and now for every 2 points it gives you 1 physical pierce, which buffs all physical builds. So it buffs both Jab and Fend. It buffs MultiShot, which got nerfed quite a bit. Which is another one of the changes. MultiShot got nerfed by, I think, 5% per level, if I remember correctly, and crossbows got nerfed by 5% physical pierce in general. So total, if we want to calculate that, MultiShot got nerfed by 5% per level, depending on how many levels you have in MultiShot. That's how much it will affect you. But you got 5 total plus 2 physical pierce if you're still using a crossbow. Do these changes even out? We'll find out during our testing. Exploding Arrow got buffed quite a bit for its damage and also its projectile size. The projectile size was also on Freezing Arrow, Lightning Bolt, Plague Javelin, and Magic Arrow. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think these were all the changes. We did test Magic Arrow. I tested Exploding Arrow, and we also did Plague Javelin. We didn't test Lightning Bolt because it's most like something used to kill like fake monsters. The main skills you're using is Lightning Fury, but we did test Lightning Fury and Lightning Strike. With that said, let's hop into the video and see what we actually found out during our testing. There we go. And as I said, we started with Jab and Fend, and here you can see me using Fend with Zeri's Resolve, using Joust for extra movement. Now, the main thing I felt is that while Joust was a little nice to have as extra movement, Amazon doesn't necessarily need that kind of movement when you're that fast. We were extremely speedy, so either you take less movement speed, but then like it feels like Joust is on cooldown too much, or you get a lot of movement speed, but then like you don't feel like you need to use Joust as much. So there's something about this scenario that obviously wasn't clicking with me too well. Overall, it did the Froden maps in 6.5 minutes. We tested different weapons as well without the Joust, like Stone Raven, which was doing fine as well. So definitely a viable option to map with if you have good enough gear. We didn't have crazy gear, we just had okay gear. Like no crazy slams or anything like that. We didn't use crazy jewels, just shales for attack speed. We also tested the Ubers with this. We tested Ubers with a Javelin and Shield as well. Hardcore player requested it just to see. And something that I found really interesting, ignore all the screen clutter, is that we could just tank and leech because of how much physical pierce and damage we're doing. We were actually leeching enough to outdo the damage that they were doing to us, which was pretty crazy. This very much reminds me of the experience on Fury Druid for people who played Fury Druid. It felt very, very safe. Like, it was very hard to get low in the HP. Just like how Feral Rage gives you a ton of life leech. We didn't have a lot of life leech for the record. It was just leeching so much because of the damage we were doing. So that was pretty good. I was pretty happy with that for the Jab and Fend on. So very viable for bossing. Probably going to be a very strong bosser for the Amazon next season. And an okay mapper, depending on how the changes to Fend revert or stay or whatever they end up doing with them. That's left to be seen. After that, we swapped to MultiShot, MultiShot being another physical build. Now, MultiShot has been the most popular build for Amazon last season. It might have been one of the most popular builds in general last season, in Season 10. So it was definitely like a big, big thing. Personally, I never thought this build was too strong. I didn't really want it to get nerfed, and a lot of people were sad that this build got nerfed. So of course we wanted to test to see how viable it is right now. And I can say, as somebody who played the exact same setup, we tested with a Barista, which was one of the more common unique weapons that was used last season. It was also heavily nerfed by damage, attack speed, Pierce, like a lot of things were nerfed on it. Pierce was nerfed on Amazon as well in general. So a lot of things about it was nerfed, but we still managed to clear 6-minute maps for the throne. 6.5, I think, was like our average. I think we did like a couple of those. So generally speaking, for a MultiShot, the build is not dead. I hope nobody is like wanting to play MultiShot and thinking, oh, now I can't do it because they nerfed it. The build is really fine. No need for doom and no need for gloom. I had a few doomers in my chat, definitely talking about it. And while I personally find this, and just in general, like Amazon to be relatively slow at mapping, similar to how Barb is a little bit slow because you rely on walking for the most part, and there's just limits to how much that can do. I do think she is generally doing fine. Like, her average clear time is just slightly slower. Personally, I wouldn't have nerfed this skill, but now you can still make it shine just as much, but you would need like a crafted crossbow to get to that real, big damage to one shot every pack. So take that with kind of like a grain of salt as somebody who does not play Amazon. That's what my perspective is. I still think the build is viable, and generally speaking, if people would ask me, hey, could you recommend me one simple build that I can like clear maps with Amazon, I would probably still say MultiShot. After that, we played Magic Arrow. Now, Magic Arrow was changed to in the projectiles, but this is a build that I've never played before, so I had a chatter that's very adept at Magic Arrow kind of instruct me through how to build this build. Now, I don't know if there are a lot of other approaches to how to make the gear work. It seemed to me a little bit restrictive, but it could be that there are ways out there to make this build a little bit more flexible. With that said, the build does incredible damage. As you can see, this build was buffed in bossing technically, since magic resistance in bosses is lowered, which is definitely a benefit. You can boss with this technically, so that is all pretty great. Overall, we used an Enigma for mobility, which made like clearing pretty nice overall. We were telestomping with Valkyries, and we managed to clear maps at the same time we were clearing with the MultiShot. Supposedly, both these builds can be pushed further to like 6 minutes per build. It just requires more specific gear. So generally speaking, about Magic Arrow, the build seemed very strong. Had a lot of like potential to be pushed forward. It was a little bit less simple to play than a MultiShot, and generally they were reaching like similar results from what I understand when you push them to like the limit. So overall, choose whatever you like playing more. I enjoy playing Magic Arrow a little bit more than MultiShot, but it's just because I like teleporting and just like having a bit more movement. But it's very much a preference thing. So up to whoever chooses to play Amazon, up to you guys. After this, we tested Exploding Arrow. Exploding Arrow was changed quite a bit, both to projectile size and to the damage it deals. And the damage on this is pretty crazy. Like, indeed, it did crazy damage. And we tested 3 different bows, like the Blood Raven bow, which apparently is the wrong bow to test. We tested Hellrack, that was recently buffed to have even more Fire Pierce, which is crazy good. And we loved that change. And we also, of course, tested no, of course, I guess. We tested Phoenix, and I tested Phoenix only after the stream, so I don't have footage of it to share like in here. But in my experience, Phoenix was the best one. The main issue I had in tier 3s, not in tier 1s, was sustaining myself without chugging potions on Phoenix. Sorry, on Exploding Arrow. And the way that I see it, Phoenix manages to do very similar damage to Hellwreck, and I think it's slightly less, but you do get that Redeem aura. It could be the live version when you have slams. Suddenly you don't need the Redeem aura, and you can just slam a bunch of life after each kill, and you'll be fine. So this is very much a build that has some potential to grow from what we did. It wasn't insanely fast. It was like solid fast. I think I did like the fastest with like 4.5 minute sewers, and clearing thrones was 7 and something minutes, which was again mostly due to sustain issues. So this could be a problem that is solved by corrupts. I don't want to like disqualify this build completely, which is some people I understand seem to do to Exploding Arrow. It seems solid. I don't know if it will be better than Fire Arrow. I'm not like, you know, not adept enough at Amazon to give you this kind of information offhand. So it's best to kind of ask in the Discord if you're just looking for a strong fire build to play and you want to know what's the strongest one. I wouldn't be able to say. But I was pretty happy with how it performed overall. And I see that my video got stuck for no reason, so I'll have to reload it. And yeah, okay, let's hop back to where we were. The next build we tested was, yeah, the Plague Javelin. Plague Javelin technically was only minorly buffed, with projectile size being slightly bigger, and also throwable weapons getting sockets. And I wanted to test basically two weapons. One of them was Gargoyle's Bite, which was effectively buffed. It got -5 less Pierce at the maximum end, which means it has less variability. But it got now up to 2 extra sockets on top of a slam. So overall, this is a buff to Plague Javelin. And this is going to be a very strong bosser again. Bossing for Amazon buffed in another way, which is nice to see, I guess. Since her mapping ability seems to be nerfed slightly to me. On MultiShot at least. So overall, that is nice to see that she does get bumped on the bossing ability. I will say that Plague Javelin still felt slow and sluggish a little bit to run in maps. It's not like this change was supposed to change its mapping ability by a lot. So if you want to map with this, or if you want to boss with this and just map offhand, you can still do it. It's not a problem. You can run tier 3s, you can run tier 1s. It's a little bit slow though. So take that with whatever you will. After this, we moved into Lightning Strike, a build that was recommended to me by one of the chatters. Lightning Strike was not changed meaningfully. Like the passives changed, I guess, but for the most part, it is the same build. And I have never played this build before in my life, so I just wanted to see what it does. So I was just like, okay, I'll test it. And the cool thing about this build, I would say, is definitely the fact that you just hold your right click and you don't have to think about it. It's not particularly the fastest or anything like that. It was just fine in terms of speed. So, you know, I was like fine with playing it, but it is really, really nice for people who don't want to, like, you know, want to play, but also maybe focus on other things, maybe play and eat at the same time. I don't know, like, we had a section where we're just like not looking at the screen for like a lot of time in a row, and that we were just fine. We also had a moment where we didn't look at the screen at all for like a minute and we died. So, you know, give it a screen check every like 30 seconds or so and you should be fine. After that, we went to test Lightning Fury. Now, Lightning Fury was only minorly nerfed due to the changes to Pierce. Basically, you'll need a little bit more Pierce now from your gear to reach 100%. Overall, that seemed like the build is not heavily affected. It might nerf the damage slightly, which is maybe a shame. I don't think this is the most amazing solo build, but this build was very strong in groups of like 8. It can clear P8 maps very efficiently, so maybe that's why it was nerfed slightly. In that sense. At the end of the stream, we wanted to test the new loyalty Runeword on a day 1 no gear Zon to see how well it can do Ubers. Now I know that Zon can do Ubers completely naked if you're a really good player, but not all of us are just like me, and I don't really play Amazon too much. So I wanted to see what happens if I drop a pool early on. I make that early Runeword. How well does it clear? And that's an important time to mention that the decoys got buffed quite a bit with the penetrate changes. So that is very, very nice for them to get that physical pierce. They hit a lot stronger. I recently have done this Uber clear it like day one, you know, type of gear with like peace and peace runeword at for an armor to get an extra Valkyrie and a bunch of decoys. And you can see this is so safe. I'm just standing there strafing whenever I don't need to summon. The new runeword gives you a bunch of FCR, making resummoning very easy. Something that is like sometimes a problem in this Uber scenario is that you get like completely wiped, like all your summons get wiped, then you don't have like something to kind of protect you and you die. I'm not running with like almost no HP here, as you can see. We simulated like a level 80 type of situation where you don't have like I left like 19 skill points and like 100 attribute points or so, so as if we're like level 80. And yeah, it was very easy to do. You can see Mephisto's health absolutely depleted in no time. So yeah, I was really impressed with how this runeword did. And overall, like after this, if you make this runeword, you can still farm with this build. This build for early farming is pretty strong. You can farm trap with it, you can farm keys with it, you can farm a bunch of things with this decoys on. It's very potent in LOD areas. And you can start going into maps with it. It's not the fastest in maps, but it is fast enough for like, you know, no gear type of scenarios. In my opinion, like you can still get like some loot from it and then transition to whatever build you want to play in the future, unless this is the build you want to play in the future, in which case you got it, keep going. Yeah, I think you'll see maybe if Diablo does one of his fire waves usually completely annihilate your team. And yeah, it's just with 60 FCR on this runeword, which is crazy. You basically get all of them back up really fast. You basically alternate cast them where you like summon decoy then Valkyrie, decoy then Valkyrie. Try to summon the decoys in different points so they don't get wiped by the same AoE. You see me not doing that. I kind of learned that while playing. I obviously again don't play Amazon, so I'm like not used to doing these like small things that make the experience better. So yeah, we just go back, we summon. Well, it seems like I learned while playing here to summon decoys in different spots. Good for me. But as you can see, like the Uber experience with this is super easy. I don't have any unique gear, just like this runeword, the peace runeword for the armor. I have like some +1 to passive arrows, rare belts, rare rings, or crafted. No, I think it was rare belts and rings, just for resistances and overcapping. The charms, as you can see, I'm using like 1/3 of the inventory. So again, very doable day one kind of Ubers, even for people who are not too experienced. So anyway, with that said, we kind of covered all the changes that I was inspecting on my testing day. On the last day, we're going to test Paladin. So look forward to that, whoever is looking to play Paladin or whoever is interested in hearing about Paladin. I'm still kind of looking into this Phoenix bow, as you can see. I'm hoping that I can find like exactly what I'm looking for in terms of like damage and sustain, but it could also be that you just need more slams to get this build just right. Some builds just really rely on the specific slams to get everything working, you know, neatly. So it is what it is. Sometimes you just need to test things on live. I do think this build has potential. The exploding arrow does have potential to clear maps pretty efficiently. So yeah, for people who are interested to test that themselves, they're very much welcome to. With that said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop, you know, like and subscribe and all the other stuff that people like content creators say all the time. It helps the channel grow, and we're getting closer and closer to season 11. We only have a couple more days of beta in us, basically today and tomorrow for the open beta, for the closed beta, and then right Monday and Tuesday I think for the open beta that anybody can join. And then we're gonna have the sad days of the year where Diablo 2, Project Diablo 2 is not playable, and we all have to touch grass or something. And then it's gonna be season 11. I'm so excited. I don't know. Okay, it has nothing to do with this video, but I'm excited. I just wanted you guys to know that. So with that said, have a good whatever you're having. I'll see you around on the next stream or the next video. And yeah, till the next one. Bye.